word for this. Oh, there we go. Let me get this off of our screen here so it doesn't. Got it. Good morning.
Good
morning. Good to see everyone. Did we have a nice Memorial or Labor Day? One of those holidays, right? One of those red, white, and blue days. I don't know.
If we're Memorial Day, we'd just be starting summer, so that'd be awesome.
I know, and it's up at the end of the year, right? Oh, it's the end of the third quarter. That's crazy. Think about that. So we have a very exciting topic that we're going to talk about today. We're going to share some stuff for Gary Keller. First thing, though, I do want to start out with playing a video, a little message from Jason Abrams and Mark King. So, Cam, go ahead.
Welcome back from Mega Camp. Hopefully you were all there and you experienced what we experienced. My goodness, what an amazing few days of content.
That was fun, right?
It was super fun. And so hopefully what you're doing is preparing for the fourth quarter and you're getting your business prepared. You heard so many stories of amazing, timely, and really important training. And you're the kind of the grand poom bob timely, important training.
I don't know about all that, but here's what I do know. And Gary and Jay said it best. They said, look, the shift doesn't have to define your strategy, but it will define your tactics, which means what you have done might not be the best thing to continue to do. And what we did is we went bullet by bullet across all lead generation, all follow-up, all wealth, all conversion, and tried to give the tactics of the moment.
It's a huge aha, because what happens in a shifting market is you may just have to put in an extra hour a day. It's just the times that we live in. If you want the same number of transactions or to grow, you may have to do more of the work that we didn't have to do in prior markets. And that's what a shift is. The good news is when you build those muscles and you develop more market share in times like this, you'll never give it up.
Absolutely right. So here's what I know. Your team leaders and OPs are the gateway to all the models and systems that you need, whether it's enhanced social media, how to get more out of your open houses, what should be doing with your sphere of influences, how do I change the way that my company appears to the consumer? They have all this.
Lots of stuff. Have a great fourth quarter. We appreciate everything that you do, and let's go get them.
See you guys.
I love that. Thank you, Kim. Message from two charismatic people. But you heard a couple important things there, right? We're talking about Mega Camp. That's what we're going to talk about today. We broke down a bunch of models and systems while they were there. I actually watched a digital version, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But really, they have a playbook, and we're going to talk about each one of those things today, right? If you don't have enough leads for your business, there's a one sheet where it's step by step. Here's what I need to do for my business. I need to call this. I need to do this. I need to post this. I need to find this open house, etc. Okay? Tune into these things because these resources are here to help you, not only at the Keller Williams International level, but also on the local level, here in your market center, right? All of us love to have those conversations. Your coaches, your team leaders, your broker, right? Your minis, man of many hats. Okay, great. So moving on, Kim, let me go ahead and share my screen. Get started. My favorite part of the meeting is our mission moment. You guys, let's start out by filling someone's bucket. Who has a bucket filled today? Something that someone has done to help our mission, to help each other. Who has a bucket fill?
Shout out to Simon Cadares, our broker, for making his best to show up in the office and meetings, be available for you guys whenever you need him. So also man of many, many hats. So thank you.
Thank you, Patty. I have a shout out too. I was actually talking to Cindy this morning, and I said, you know, surprisingly, the agents here at this office have been really engaged because I was super busy with a lot of calls over the weekend. I said, more so than the South Bay agents. So, you know, Cindy was saying, you know, that's a good thing because they're actually working. Kudos to everyone that worked over the weekend, you know, so it's amazing to see that.
Yeah. Thanks again, Simon, for everything you do for us. I love it.
Thank you.
They're always here to help. Perfect. Who else? Who else has a bucket to fill?
I'll give a personal shout out here to Mr. Drake Cruz. As some of you know, I was in Disney with my family on Thursday, and Drake said, would you like me to go walk your dogs? And Drake went and walked my pooch and took care of things for me. So thank you, Drake. I appreciate that.
I got a thanks for the party. With booze. Yeah. Yes, sounds good.
No, he's also a dog walker. Put that on your resume. I love that. Anything else? Okay, guys, moving on. Thank you. This is great. Shout out to our September birthdays. We have a lot of them actually this month. A couple of you guys are in the room. I know Kimberly's on there, right? Yeah, we have a couple other people in the room. Make sure if you see them, give them a big welcome and happy birthday and congratulations, right? Happy work anniversary. Manny, do you want to say any words?
She's working.
Yeah.
Maricela, she's awesome. Sarah's gonna be a little, I think, maybe gonna speak, but it's just an amazing, dedicated person in escrow. If you use escrow, especially Maricela, she'll do everything and anything to make sure that your clients are the happiest people on earth, and of course, you guys as well. So, congrats, Maricela.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys for coming. September newcomers, we actually have some of them in the room. Dinos. Stand up.
I'm Sam Rantos. I'm a returning agent. I was an agent back in the very early 90s. I worked for Century 21 Sparrow, Britain, in the Los Altos Center. I left real estate to pursue a career in law enforcement. And so I recently retired from LAPD as a detective. Did a lot of good work there. As a matter of fact, on a side note, I just got a call from one of my partners. In one of my cases, my suspect took a deal for 100 years to life. Wow. So I'm very excited. You know, I decided that when I retired, I needed to continue working and continue to keep active and be around people. You know, I love people. So I decided to go back to the real estate business. So here I am.
I love that.
Working with you all and see you more around the office.
Great. Good job. I also saw a great advertisement, by the way, for at the Greek Festival. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, it was all in Greek. Couldn't read it, but all I knew was I trusted you by that picture.
Well, I made sure to put on there that I also speak Greek.
Yeah.
That's it. I know.
Yeah, I love that.
But in Greek.
Good job. I love it. Welcome. Risha is actually on Zoom. Risha. Hi. Welcome.
Hi, everybody.
You want to
I was debating coming in this morning because I had another meeting, but I should have just came on in.
Risha, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born in Birmingham, Alabama. I've been in California for about 4 years now. I am a nurse. I am a hairstylist, and now I am a real estate agent. My goals here are to pretty much just set high goals and work every day to achieve them. Get to know you all and be very homey. I'm from down south, so I do say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir a lot. So don't get offended. Just let me know. And I'm just excited to meet you all.
Awesome. Welcome, Risha. We're so excited to have you. Reese, you're here as well. Reese, get him.
Welcome, Reese.
I was in the restaurant industry before I got into real estate, and I didn't really know what direction I wanted to go with my life. And really funny, a huge agent from Keller Williams knocks on my door one day, and his name's Kevin Sturdivant, and I was just beyond inspired when I saw what he was doing with his business. And so I figured, you know what, this is what I want to do with my life. And so the last 3 years, I've just been like figuring out what works for me, and just been knocking on doors, and I've been really enjoying it. But I'm excited to get some mentorship at Keller Williams and really figure out how I'm going to take my business to the next level.
Awesome. Welcome. Gotta love an agent that they love door knocking.
Yeah, and I just want to add one thing that I just learned with Reese. We were just meeting, and he said that he's anxious. I said, we're getting some shadowing opportunities for open houses. He said, yeah, I've done one, and I had a buyer from it, and they bought. And I'm like, oh my gosh, so he has one open house, he gets one buyer, and he's successful. So that's how you do it.
Yeah, excited to help you grow your business, Reese. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Robert Reynolds, capping. Congratulations, Robert. Robert is that VP with Lindsay, right? Okay, great. You guys, just to be super clear, because consistency is so key, whether it's in our business or in the market center, right? Every Tuesday at 10, you're going to have an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to consume real estate information that you guys can put out in your businesses, okay? So every Tuesday, we're either going to have a team meeting or it's going to be Manny's Real Estate Live at 10, right? Put it in your calendars. We'll have panels. We'll have speakers. It'll be fun. Lots of value. I guarantee you, you will not be bored. Okay? Clear. Seeing you every Tuesday at 10. Okay? Join us. Did you guys get this email from about Reimagine? Okay, CAR Expo is happening, especially all of you new agents. This is a great opportunity to network and to be immersed in your business. The CAR Expo is happening here in Long Beach in person. It's the first in-person event since COVID. It's down at the Long Beach Convention Center. It's actually free if you're a member of CAR, and all of you are, right? Because you've joined your local board. So you can actually scan that QR code to register. I know myself, I know many. I know Simon's going to be there. Anyone else in here planning on going or already did? Great, great. There's lots of hands up. Remember, this is a no cost for you as an agent. Some of the things do cost extra, but this is a great opportunity to stay involved with what's happening in the industry, hear things that are coming up, hear things that are going to impact your business and your clients' business, and also get a different coaching perspective. It's quite fun. Yeah, Manny?
And just to add, only the first day, the 11th, is a paid day. So look, go on and check the content to see if it's relevant for you if you want to do that. But the 12th and 13th are no cost. If you haven't been to MegaCamp, family event, KW conventions or whatever, it's somewhat similar. I would say not exactly the same, but very similar. Of course, networking locally and look at different amazing coaches and speakers. So take advantage. Down the street will cost you probably the cost of local gas commute, which is probably $100, and some lunch.
He doesn't know he has a Tesla.
But it's still affordable. So take advantage and join us. We're gonna be there for those 2 days.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a good group. And the vendors, you guys going through the convention center too is one of my favorite parts. Seeing all the new up and coming stuff. I think it's fun. Okay, great. Let's bring our leadership up here. Leadership updates. You guys, come on up. Go ahead.
Thanks.
Okay, let's see. Okay, everybody's up here. One thing that I want to share is that we are changing the calendar slightly. You may have noticed if you go into the September calendar at kwcoastal.com, we have all of the office's calendar, and then we will have a calendar that will be specific to our office. So please remember, if you have anything that you really would like to see on that calendar, any classes, shoot me an email, sit down with me, have a chat, and we'll do our best to get an instructor and get it on, of course. Let's find out.
Awesome. And the monthly view is so much easier from our feedback that we're hearing from you guys to read. So thank you.
Yeah.
Love it. Who's next? Cindy?
Cindy.
Family reunion. We have to the end of this month to do the early bird registration. Remember, it's in Anaheim. If anybody wants to add $200 to their monthly billing, I'll do a little savings account for you. And by the end of the year, you'll be paid for anything else you go. Awesome. You don't want to miss it.
Yeah. Thanks, Cindy. We're going to talk a little bit about that too later. Simon.
Good morning.
Morning.
Can I get some smiles? Look at all these beautiful smiles. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're not the first. I actually let South Bay know first last week at our team meeting the importance of renewing your real estate license, folks. Okay, your 45 hours of continuing education. Darn those 45 hours. How many have renewed their license? Just one person? and the dread of completing your 45 hours, because the Department of Real Estate will not allow you to renew your license, right? They'll take your money, but they will not give you and issue you another 4-year license until you complete your 45 hours. Now, the good thing is if you're renewing this year, you're still in the okay zone. Come in 2023, they're adding an additional curriculum that is on top of all of the stuff like risk management, ethics, supervision. Even though most of you probably are not brokers, that's part of the curriculum. Now they're adding a new, which is not going to add more to the 45 hours. It's just going to be a blend of it. But my biggest concern is do not wait till the last minute, folks, to renew your license. I know agents wait last minute, I'm getting calls. What do I need to do to renew my license? Well, have you completed your 45 hours? No, when did your license expire? Well, in about a week. Don't be that agent, because Department of Real Estate right now, folks, they're cutting your license and putting it as an expired. If you have any listings or any activity going on, unfortunately, you cannot do or conduct any real estate until your license is reinstated and active and working status. Okay, question?
Does that stay on your record?
No.
No. Do you get fined? You
You'll
just can't
get a
work.
penalty, which will cost you more money.
Yeah.
Because
Like
your
a
sales,
Yeah.
your sales license, I believe it's $245.
Mhm.
If you wait and your license becomes an expired, they increase it another $100. So now that $245 may be $345. And sometimes, and I know there's a grace period, and during pandemic, folks, they gave you a grace period. They're not giving you no more grace period.
Yeah.
So if your license expires, there's nothing that we can do until you reinstate your license. Okay, pay your fee, complete your 45 hours, and make sure you upload all that information to the site. The fastest way to get it all squared away is doing it through the DRE site. That way, within minutes, you'll get your license reinstated for another 4 years. Okay.
Simon,
Yes.
I believe we can start taking classes at any time after we've renewed our license.
Yeah.
Preparing for the next renewal.
Absolutely.
We have to wait 90 days prior to our expiration
Yes.
before we submit. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
So let's say you renew your license this week, right? You can immediately do the 45 hours, hold on to that for the rest of the 4 years, and then use that towards your new renewal. Okay. Now, the Department of Real Estate will not allow you to renew your license, as Deborah says, 90 days prior to expiration date. So if you try to do it now, it will not. It'll say that it's too early. 90 days is the buffer. But again, don't be that agent that waits 30 days into it or weeks into it. Start that 90-day process and get your 45 hours out of the way. That way you're not stressed.
You still have,
Especially,
you still have to add any new curriculum or what have you, they're gonna add.
right,
If the renewal is in the after next year,
after January 1st of 2020.
Yeah. Just pay attention, it's expired like anything else, and there's nothing exciting than traffic school for agents, which is the renewal, but it's only for every 4 years, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Right? So that's not bad news. It's okay. So perfect.
And remember, you can also go on the hub, the KW hub, and we have the 45 hours free, right, through the California Association of Realtors. So take advantage of it, without actually paying for your certificate. Yeah.
That's great. Thanks, Simon. Benny, do you have anything?
60 seconds, really. Number one, what Deborah said, extension of that. We are almost in 2023, right? So a month from today, we're gonna start to plan your 2023 curriculum, the monthly, the weekly, the annually. So if you have anything specifically you want us to bring to the office next year, let us know. Between October and November, we're gonna have at least 2 business planning sessions like we do every year with contents. One is only local, led by Halley, and another one is between the offices combined together in probably 3 hours or so. So you get ready for that. Just again, looking into 2023. Cindy mentioned the family event in February. It's going to be a massive one. If I had to guess, probably 12, maybe 15,000 KW agents from all over the world. Family is a bigger event than MegaCamp. It's in Anaheim. If I were you, I would definitely budget it ahead and plan to be there. You don't have to spend the night over there. Preferably if you're not that close, but you don't have to. Again, it's going to be an amazing event, and you're going to hear, I think, soon from the panelists, right? But Mega, it's worth the investment, right? So that's what
I love that. Thank you, guys. Thanks for our leadership. Okay, well, Manny and Simon, don't go too far. So speaking of panels, speaking of Mega Camp, you guys, so we had Mega Camp. There was over 12,000 total attendees. 10,000 of you attended virtually, and then 8,000 agents attended in person. So with the map there a little bit on that, if you attend in person, they also gave you a pass to the digital, right? Which is cool. All the recordings, all the content, all the handouts, all the flyers, etc. So we're going to have a good, thoughtful conversation about what we learned at Mega Camp. You guys go ahead, come up here and take a seat. All right, so let's welcome our panel. You guys might recognize these people, right? Everyone looks familiar. Welcome. Of course, so we have Simon Science over here, our awesome broker, as well as team leader over at KW South Bay. We have Manny Atias, right? Our OP and general does everything here around the office, right? We have Deborah Bell, my assistant team leader. You guys all know her, right? And then Janet. Welcome, Janet. Let me actually start my camera too. That way people can see you guys on Zoom. Then we're going to go a little bit this way. Okay, great. So I'm going to share some slides up here, you guys. There's a couple of things that I want us to get into about the market update with Gary Keller, right? At the beginning of every national conference, Mega Camp Family Reunion, Gary does kind of a state of the market address, right? Where he takes all the data and information from economists, from NAR, our own economists, people that we bring into our company, and kind of gives a rough overview about where the market has been, and most importantly, where the market's going, right? Now, we know everyone doesn't have a crystal ball. We can't project those things, but we do have facts and history that give us a pattern of what is going to happen in our local economy here in real estate. Okay, so the first panel, so the first slide, hold on a second, that I want to bring up to you guys. Can you guys see the screen okay and the slides okay? Maybe I can make them a little bit bigger. And they can have, okay, great. So the first slide that I want to point out to you guys is something that's really important. This is the home sales annual. Now, again, this is on a national level. It's important to know your local level numbers. But what this tells us is how many home sales we had year over year throughout the trend back since 1990. Okay. Now, remember, this isn't the total number of sales because you would have to times this inventory by 2. Why? Because there's 2 sides to every sale, right? Does that kind of make sense in regards to the numbers? Okay, cool. So again, this is something Gary Keller said, when times are good, at some point they'll get tougher. When times are tougher, at some point they'll get good. It's just the way the world works. So look at this chart here when we look at the inventory. So we do have 2022 projected. Again, this is in millions, 5.1 million in sales for 2022. Last year, we were at 6.1 million in sales. Okay, so this is the 2022 projected line over here. Now, can you see a trend going back from the 90s? Then we go into the crash times, right? 07, 08. Look at how the total number of sales shifted down under the 4s. 4.1, 4.3. Then look at the upward trends we're hitting again, back into the green, right? We're over that median line that we see in 2022. So just as Gary shares with us, remember, real estate is an ebb and flow, right? If you look at here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years trending upwards before we saw it trending downwards over that median line. Does that make sense? From here, we've really only seen a couple years that have gone over that line. Any comments, you guys, about this, things, takeaways?
Well, for me, you know, being in the industry for quite some time, I remember the early 2000s. And if you look at, you know, 02, 04, 06, and then 07 and 08, it definitely just dramatically decreases, right? Mm-hmm. If you were an agent during that time, it was one of the best times in real estate. It seemed like everyone had a real estate license. You can go to the market, and you mentioned real estate, the cashier had a real estate license. What can I do to help you? I do real estate. It was just a very interesting time, similar to what we're seeing right this minute as well. But when the market of 07 and 08 hit, we lost a lot of people, a lot of agents, and it was just a very unique, interesting time, very stressful, because I, for one, did not anticipate what the bubble bust of 2008. And a lot of real estate agents didn't really predict, even though we were hearing, a lot of us were in denial. And being in denial and being complacent can jeopardize and ultimately harm you in your real estate career. The ones that ended up surviving is the ones that were in the trenches consistently doing the activities. Those are the ones that ultimately survived that era. And the ones that didn't, unfortunately, were washed out. And that's where you see the impact, because they said, when the good times are good, everyone wants to be on that wagon. When the times are tough, no one wants to be. It's just very difficult. Let's focus on something else. So what I got during that era, and what I'm seeing now, is staying consistent in the activities. You'll survive. And that was one of the things that Gary Keller said at Mega Camp is, you don't want to go 100 miles, but stay consistent like a marathon runner, right? That's how they can sustain 27.5 miles. It's not sprinting, but staying consistent where your heart rate is controlled and you have a rhythm, right? Well, that's the same thing with real estate. You will survive. And that's what I got from this chart.
And just to put this into perspective too, back in, thank you, Simon, back in, 2011, 2012, there was a third less realtors than there were today doing the same amount of business, right? Back then we were right around 1 million in realtor agent count across the country. Right now we're a little over 1.5, right? So there are more realtors doing the same amount of transactions. So that's why it might feel a little tight, right? It might feel a little push. We might go back into that discovering everyone, their aunt, Joe, Bob, whoever living down the street is also a realtor, right? We might hear that. Any other comments about the slide?
I think one thing that was following what Simon was saying, we heard a lot about the shift, which you're going to be hearing that. It's going to sound like a broken record, but we did. And what Gary said was, real estate's been easy for us these last couple of years. You could just walk out and basically sell a house. Now we've got to get back to the basics. And as Simon said, those people that are in the trenches doing the work consistently are the ones that are going to succeed. However, if you're just starting out, it's not go hold an open house and you got a buyer and you walk away with the transaction. You've got to really be doing those actions that are going to get you into production. So if you don't know what they are, then come to the classes and learn and share with some of the others that are successful at it.
It's all about perspective. 1.5 million in sales or 5.1 million in sales is still a really good book of business, right? There's still a lot of business to be had. Someone's having it. You just have to figure out how to take your unfair share, right? Well,
and just to add, don't fear it, embrace it, and you'll survive. It's funny because this weekend I went to the beach. I live very close to the beach and haven't gone to the beach all summer. So on Saturday, went to the beach, and I started realizing, because we were close to the lifeguard, and there's times where the waves are super strong, and it's knowing how to stay afloat when you go in the deep side, right, and staying above, where the heavy waves hit, right. And it just kind of reminds me of real estate as well, because again, if you stay afloat, right, you'll be able to conquer anything, especially those heavy waves that come your way that we get in real estate as well, the ups and downs and the trials and tribulations of what we call real estate. So it just puts a good perspective in our positions. Stay afloat, stay consistent, do the necessary activities as Deborah says, you're going to be fine.
I love that. Thank you, guys. Next one, I thought this one was really important. Home prices annual, right? Who's seen home prices go up? All of us, right? But this puts it a little bit into perspective. So if you're wondering what this little yellow line is, this is going to be the long-term average of appreciation. It's the inflationary growth rate of residential real estate in the United States. So on average, the natural appreciation is about 4% per year. Okay. So just to put things into perspective a little bit, in 2020, we had a 9% appreciation jump. So it was over that median line. 2021, we had an 18% appreciation jump, right? And then in 2022, right now, they're projecting a 12% appreciation on top of that. So home prices are still going up. The last time we saw this general appreciation, home 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, again, 7 years in a row where we saw appreciation go above that 4% line. Questions, comments, thoughts on this?
Well, it just shows you that historically, it's the best time to buy real estate is yesterday, right? You need to buy. If you're also in the want to sell, the same thing. Like you can never go wrong, right? Because it will appreciate. It's an asset that is always going to be there, always going to be in demand. It's cyclical, industry or field of business. In both ends, right? As an investor, as a realtor. So you have to remember that. And I'm guessing going to show also maybe the rates at some point. Next one. Well, I have a comment about that. But you have to remember again, like as an agent, as a realtor, you're an advisor, consultant. You're not the emotional decision maker for the individual. So that's why it's really important to learn the data, the history of, and that's only goes until what, 90, 91, 90, what have you. Like if you're going to go even further back, 10 years up the 80s, you'll see there's more data that is still relevant to use and talk about it today, between the rates, appreciation, etc., that will help you to be a better advisor to the buyers and sellers. Because again, it's always a good time to buy, always a good time to sell. Right? Depends what are you looking at.
To piggyback on that, Gary said it's our job to bring perspective and conversations around this. And he was speaking about this slide in particular, because it's our job to be the local economist of choice for our clients.
Can you repeat that last sentence? It's our job to be?
It's our job to be the local economist of choice to our clients, for our clients.
We have to educate our clients.
I have a comment on this. And I think it was Jeff Lever who mentioned this, that the first half of this year, we saw the rates or the prices soaring. And in the last part, we've seen them decreasing. So that 12% might actually kind of come down. It might not be the great gain.
Secondarily, Gary talked about a word called disinflation, right?
Right.
So it's basically the concept that we will always have inflation. It's always going to rise. Again, average being 4%. But we may be not rising as high of a rate, right? We won't be inflating so quickly. So completely, Janet, to your point, it may be 12, it may be 10, it may be 8, but it's still going to go up. Prices will still raise, just maybe not to quite the expedited rate that we've been used to the last couple of years. And those are big jumps. Never have we had that high of a jump in, at least back since they started tracking this in the 90s. Any other comments, questions about this?
One thing that I wanted to share with Gary that said that one of the biggest challenge the sellers have is that they have a memory. And they're thinking about what they could have gotten, not what they'll get. So it's our job to educate them where the market was and where we are, because it's changing. It really is changing. And if we get into a true buyer's market, it's really different. And that's where you have to be educating them for.
And a great way to do it, by the way, which it's obvious, like as simple as, but you don't always leverage that, is a cheat sheet that is called a net sheet. Go to Sarah, go to Maricela, go to Escrow and say, hey, can I get a net sheet for, right? Because it's like one of the Tom Cruise movie, Show Me the Money, right? What was that?
Jerry Maguire. Jerry Maguire.
There you go. Be the Jerry Maguire of real estate. Show me the money. Show them the money. The net sheet will show, okay, this is how much you're gonna walk away with, right? Because if they bought 2 years ago, 3, 5, 10, whatever it is, they have so much, assuming they didn't make crazy mistakes and did crazy refinancing, whatever, equity, etc. lines. But if they have pure equity in the house, they're sitting on a lot of liquid cash, right? Potential cash. So.
Yeah, they have a 4% return average. That's better than the savings account. That's better than most,
or more in
the last few years, right? People that are getting 20% returns. You're not even getting that on stock right now, anymore. So yeah. Okay, so next slide. This one and the next one kind of goes together. So this is inventory monthly, and then the next one is our I'll show you guys here in a second. Oh, days on market, right? So monthly inventory. I want us all to be on the same page to understand what makes a seller's market, what makes a buyer's market, what makes a neutral market. Okay. So this slide here tells us how many months of inventory, if all the buyer needs were filled and all the properties that we had were going to fill it, how long that time would take from day of shopping to close and all the houses on the market being sold, having zero inventory, right? So you can see in here, the current 2022 is this little light blue line. So as of July, which August number hadn't come out yet, we still have 3.3 months of inventory here nationally. Now we know in the state of California from Lawrence Yun that it was 3.5 here just in California, months of inventory. So when you look at whether this is a seller's market or a buyer's market, from 0 to 5 is still a seller's market. 5 months of inventory is still a seller's market. And we're smack dab in the middle, right around the 3s. Okay, it's not just barely, it's almost even turning into a neutral market. It's still a strong seller's market, right? You can see here with the trend line about the inventory and how much that affected it. Do you guys look at the trends over time back in 2020, even 2022, January, we were at 1.6. Because you guys felt it, right? It was still feeling good. We were coming off of everything from the holiday. And then we went down a little bit. Any comments on this?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So how do you know we reached equilibrium? You don't know how many buyers.
Well, that's something the economists and all the data does. In fact, of time of inventory. But from 0 to 5 is seller's market. From 6 to 8, I believe, is neutral. 9+ is buyers. So we have to have 9 months of predetermined inventory in order for it to be a buyer's market. That's pretty far off of where we currently are today.
And
yeah,
that's not a strength of mine figuring that out. As I know that we taught classes on that for another market centers, but how do we easily determine, you know, what is that? What is that equation that we use to find out? Does anybody
the best resource is, like I said, use CER and NAR, because there are people like Lawrence Yun, people in our sphere, to define that, to find out how much that inventory is. Every month, CER and NAR does some type of report or an update, right? And then they usually update those numbers during that time. Simon, do you have any other resources or questions? I think that's the best thing, really.
Yeah, one platform that I definitely recommend is called InfoSparks through the multiple listing service. It's a member service free to the agents to utilize these type of graphics and reports. And you can go back as far as 3 years, similar to what this graph, I think it goes back to 2020, 2021 and 2022. You can do monthly, you can do quarterly, and you can do all kinds of variables when it comes to, you know, providing information or data. So this is something that you can also get just within your area. If it's zip code, city, schools, area, it'll manipulate the system to provide you with true information.
Yeah, that's great. And we'll share some of those other resources with you. So moving on to the second one, which again, I believe these slides kind of go hand in hand, which is the days on market monthly. And again, this is all about perspective. Right now, we're at 14 days on market average. 14. And yet somehow the perspective still tells us that houses are sitting for so long, right? We can get down on our heads and get very negative. But look at, it is the lowest it's been on this chart. And actually the lowest it's been since back in the 90s. They didn't put that on here, but it's as low as it's been back in the 90s, Gary had shared. 14 days on market, right? How can that be a bad market, Gary said. And then he also shared, this is the most confusing market I've ever seen in my 40+ years in the industry. And I think that's pretty powerful. I mean, what did you guys see or hear from that?
Because, you know, he was showing all the fact. There was, by the way, there was like 80 slides.
Yeah, I took out the best.
And then maybe Halley can share the entire slide like with you this afternoon with the recordings. Tell Kim. But so you can definitely dig deeper and understand inflation, this and that, employment, etc. It's confusing because it's not like one indicator that shows you oh, it's going left, 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 that's why, right? There's so many different pieces to it that, again, it's easy to get confused, quote unquote. And not to be confused in the sense of like, oh, I don't know what to do. It means that you have to be more precise on what the facts are, and even more precise on what is it that you're going to do today, every single day, not to get caught with that illusion of like, it's a chaos and there's no solution. Solution is very simple, right? It's real estate 101. But you still have to understand all of that shenanigans to have a better conversation as a consultant, as an advisor to your clients. That's it. Don't get caught with like, oh my God, I'm so lost. Everything's okay.
Gary said, normally all the signals point in one direction, AKA pricing is rising. But what's so confusing is that this days on market is at an all-time low. And really that's speaking more about supply that we have right now, right? The inventory is low. Maybe that's why we're having so low days on market. So that's why we had shared it was so confusing.
And we're going to see that the last quarter trend, how things will change. The most likely will change because, shifting market doesn't happen overnight. It takes a minute, in the sense of like months or years even, depends what kind of shift we're talking about. So again, don't get caught. Study this to be the economist of choice for your people, but don't get caught with I'm so overwhelmed. Okay, it's not the right direction.
I love that. Okay, so the hot topic on everyone's agenda was, of course, the mortgage rates annual. So I just want to point out a couple of things. So 7.8 here is the historic line that we've had in interest rates back since before 72 when they started tracking this. Okay, right now you see this little green line is the historical average from 90 to 2001. Okay, the historical average over here, you're going to see each one of those points is in regards to the mortgage rate. So 2.96, that was a gift from God. Okay, people keep saying they want to go back, and Gary had shared this, that they want to go back to the 2.96 and below the threes. And really, we need to put that into perspective because we don't want that. Why is that? Natural disasters. Why is that? Hard economy. If you guys remember, a couple months ago, 6 months ago, we weren't all sitting around sipping Mai Tais having a good time, right? We were at home. It was COVID. We were wearing masks. We couldn't come in. We were doing all this stuff. Who wants to go back to that? Right? I just want to throw that out there. Comments on this, you guys?
A few questions. First of all, one comment. Some people are still stuck in COVID times.
Right.
If you know, don't know, the FYI. So it's there, but not there, but still there somewhat. Number two, question, who's the God of money? Right? So like it's from God. Like who's the God of money? Like, it came from somewhere, so it's interesting. Here's one thing that you have to understand. Yesterday's buyers are not today's buyers. So if you're in the market, raise your hand if you have buyers, even virtually, right? If you have buyers more than 6 months you've been working with. Okay, tough life. So those guys are certain somehow in the part of the DNA that the rates will maybe spike, hit again the 2.something, 3% that they're hoping. They're really, really hoping, right? Now, there's a chance that it's going to happen. Maybe not. The thing is that, raise your hand if you have buyers, brand new buyers from the last month and a half, most of you. That's awesome. Those guys know that the rates are 5%, 6%. Amazing buyers to work with because that's what they know. So remember that, again, you have to educate them based on what's happening today. And I'm not saying you have to let go buyers who they're stuck on the 2.9, 2.6 memory, but if they do, keep them, but focus on today's buyers. Make sense? Today's buyers are the real buyers.
You get them requalified.
Yeah.
Mentally and physically.
Yeah, Gary said when he first got in the industry and mortgage rates, when he was really heavily working back when they were in the 16s, right? And he said sellers were paying up to 14 points to close a transaction for their buyers. Think about talking your seller into that. That's a lot. 14 points.
I think another thing that he had commented on, where Minnie was going with this, would you prefer to pay more in price or more on an interest rate you could refinance?
Right.
So think about that for some of these buyers that are so afraid to make a move because the interest rates have gone up and they want that 3% again. It's not going to happen without, you know, a change in economy that we don't want. So find a script that you're going to be able to share with them that you can drive them forward to buy now at the high interest rate and refinance later. In fact, I think Lindsay, I don't know if anybody saw Lindsay's post. I think it's one of the lenders is offering some type of a seller interest rate buy down, a 2-1 buy down, which was really interesting to see. So there are programs out there that can help. Sorry, go.
No, you're good. that was awesome. I'll give you a script that I've seen out there. Marry the house, date the rate. Right?
Yeah.
Because that's going to change.
Yeah.
Marry the house, because once you pay the price for the house, you can't change that. Rate will change. If you're not sure, go see Mike at the back.
I actually had a buyer in a house say that to me.
There we go.
Yeah.
The word is getting out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smart.
We're going to have more clients looking at adjustable rate mortgages.
And I love the fact, because I also hear more lenders talking with educating agents about possibly, you know, get the seller, if the house is sitting for a second or whatever, and the seller's still stuck on a specific price, okay, offer incentives. And that's what Richard, that's going to shift in various ways, because every time it's like a different jacket, how it happens, right? That can possibly lead to buyer's market. So it's not just by the numbers, it's also by what incentives you can see out there, etc. You know, go back to 2020, 2021, and you're doing inspection, you have the buyers, so doing inspection, and there's a lot of like horrible things. Let's say 2021, last year. Can you imagine going back to the seller and say, hey, I want 50,000, you know, credit for this one, and 100,000 drop the price for the house, and buy me a buy-body coffee and lunch today, right? It's surreal. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. Things are changing slowly, but maybe not like that, different place.
Well, and just to piggyback to what Manny was saying, the importance of understanding your skill levels of conversations with the listing agents, because it's going to get to that momentum where you're going to have that leverage from a buyer's perspective and utilizing all your angles to get more incentives from the sellers. Because if the motivation for the seller is to sell, then it's going to give you an opportunity to wiggle your way and ask the seller to pay for concessions, pay down the rate, right? Where now that 6% or 7% interest, whatever it's at, you know, now it can go down to 4, 4.5, even 5%, and make it a win-win for both. Seller sells, buyer buys, and, you know, as Manny was saying and Deborah was saying, in the future, we cannot predict the future, but, you know, with rates go up, eventually will come down. And that's when you'll have the opportunity to refinance. So those are the conversations how you kind of have with your clients to have them, you know, pull the trigger and commit to buy.
I love that. The last slide that I want to share with you guys, again, one of 80, but I picked out a couple for you guys. So when the cost of ownership goes up, what happens to rents? They go up too, right? I'm hearing a lot of conversations from you guys. You're encountering a lot of renters who are deciding to stay, especially after looking at what's on the market, maybe losing out on offers, seeing their affordability. So I did want to share this with you guys because it is as easy as it is for us to understand that. We need to be the pillars of what that investment means for our clients, moving them in from renters into buyers. You know, so really practice this conversation. One of the things Gary said is that, you know, when you're taking yourself out of renting, you're taking yourself out of that roller coaster financially, right? And then I know when we were at the ALC meeting the other day, Allison said a really good comment as well, where she said the only way to secure your finances when you're going through inflation or you're going through a shift is to make sure your number one cost is set in stone. Right? Your number one cost is going to do nothing but go down. You're not going to have rents. Any comments about this, you guys? Inflation, rents?
I personally, like, this, and I thought this was a great opportunity for marketing to renters, because there is another slide that we can make available to you. It's a rent versus investing in a Vanguard fund. And it really made good sense to be able to go to these renters who may qualify but never looked into it because they think they don't. If you showed them some type of a comparison that your lender will be happy to prepare, right, Mike? That they can, that could be a marketing piece for you, that you go out to these renters who are paying such high rents and find a high rent complex to market to. You'll be surprised. He said, if you're staying somewhere for 3 years or more, you should buy or own a property. If it's only going to be about a year or two, renting does make sense. But when you're going to be in something a little more long-term, then you want to consider that buying.
I love that. Jane, I know you have some stuff to share with us from Gary's. Any other comments, you guys, about the experience going to Mega Camp? Other things you want to share with everyone?
You learn how to ride electric scooters. You have good times with the group that you go with. A lot of great exhibits in the exhibit halls.
Two things. That too. And watch the bats.
Watch the bats.
So two things. Number one, it's really a privilege to spend quality time. Of course, see Gary on stage, our leadership, which are amazing, Mark, Jason, Mark King, Jason Abrams, and all the other executives, very passionate, and they're on the floors. They're sitting in the booth, what have you. They can go to luxury and military and relocation and whatever. It's awesome because you get face time and really get to connect them and build a relationship. It's even more of a great privilege to spend time with our peers, right? Leadership and agents. We were 32 people at dinner from Postal, PV, the Pedro office, LA Harbor, and South Bay. And it was so awesome, because you get to hang with people that normally you see their name all the time as an agent, right? On this property, that property, but you never get to have like a drink with or share, a break bread with, right? John brought an amazing girl from Boca Raton, Florida as a guest, and amazing connection for everybody. So that's one of the things that you're like, it's priceless. Originally, can hang out with us. So that's just one thing that I really appreciate. The second thing Gary said, and if you don't follow Gary on various channels, he's on Facebook as well, so you can follow him and see that he shared things from whatever you see fit. So he said, and I quote, once you move from transaction to experience, from your perspective to their as a client perspective, this industry is magical, right? So as an agent, the transaction is extremely important, right? The mechanism, the TC, the paperwork, contracts and everything. But that's why you have an amazing team to back you up. Think more about the experience, right? Hopefully you had the good one. Well, for sure a good one, the Amazon experience compared to eBay experience, right? But really the 5-star you want to deliver to clients, that's what's going to differentiate you today more than anybody else.
I love that. Thank you, Minnie.
And
Simon.
Just to add, there's a couple of things that Gary said, which I think kind of resonates with me. Only be afraid of your inability to adapt fast enough. Especially right now, if you're not adapting and embracing it, you're going to fall short. The information coming into the regular meetings, knowing the fundamentals of real estate contracts, negotiations, and objection handlers, knowing the trends, knowing the market, working and, connecting, and, kind of share with the entire group. We definitely missed you at Mega Camp. I was thinking of you all the time, but it was just awesome to collaborate with some of the finest people in leadership. As Benny was saying, PB, Mary from LA Harbor, thank you. And, just the awesomeness of what we have here. And to share ideas and trade, which is very rare to see. You know, we have it here at our offices, so it's awesome to see that.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Janet, you've got some slides. So Janet got the opportunity to go to Gary Keller's CEO Mastermind.
Yeah.
Yes. What would you like to share, Janet, with the group?
Yeah, I'm going to give you 5 hours worth of content in about 2 minutes. So this kind of kicked off the event. This was for, you know, mega agents, and I got to sneak in and sit at the big kids table for the day, basically. The topic was certainty in an uncertain time. And he went over, there were a bunch of slides with, you know, various great thinkers on the subject of uncertainty and how it's just part of life and you're never going to be entirely certain about everything. We're looking at probability because we can't always have certainty. And so probability is where we want to kind of concentrate our efforts and use the knowledge and past models and things to get the most probable outcome. Yeah. And it's like, I like that one. The game of life is best played when you know what you need to be certain about, know what you need to apply the probabilities to, and embrace uncertainty as an amazing adventure. So you might as well just enjoy the ride because you're going to be on it anyways.
I love that. Oh, did you get a picture?
And I'll send you these. And so, I mean, this is kind of basic. You know, the past and present is set in stone, but the future, we just don't know. We can use all the best models and apply everything, but we honestly don't know how everything's going to turn out.
3 time zones. I love that.
And yes, okay, so this was kind of the meat and potatoes of this. To have your best life possible, the 3 things you should be certain about is number 1, who you are. Really dig deep into who you are, what you stand for, you know, who you want to present to your clients. And then you want to determine what you want. What are your goals? So, I mean, is it to, you know, have a big mega team, or, you know, what do you want? And then what you are willing to do to get it. You know, short of robbing banks and criminal activities and things like that. You know, we were looking at a bunch of leaders in the industry and seeing, you know, what they did. What were their daily tasks? What did they do to achieve and get to where they wanted to be? And so if you're certain about who you are, that's going to resonate with people, and people are going to feel stronger and more confident in you. And if you know what you stand for, you'll know what you won't stand for. So sometimes it's good to flip the equation a little bit. And you should be certain about what you want. It makes you more purposeful. And then you should be certain what you're willing to do. Okay, and this was, again, what the core of Mega Camp was, which was listening to Gary interview top industry leaders. And what he did this time was he took all of what these industry leaders did, whether they were open house kings or whatever, and he broke down their business plans and everything into steps, implementable steps that we can all take. We can download from the website and take and say, I want to be the open house king. These are the steps that the open house king did to do it, to get there. And so, and again, saying, you know, to give us the best probability to get to success is to follow these paths that have already been laid for us. And that's kind of it in a nutshell.
That's awesome.
That's great. Well, thank you, Janet. Any other last comments from you guys?
I have one last thing I'd like to share, and it was something that Gary Keller said that I was really surprised to hear. I've always admired him and his success. And for those of you who don't know, he started out in the garage as his office, answering the phone, Keller Williams International, because he knew he wanted to be a big international company. However, he shared with us that he does not like lead generation. He said what he did was he made peace with it because he likes the results. So, you know, most of us don't like to lead generate, but make peace with it because the results are phenomenal.
I love that. What a great note to leave us. You guys, round of applause for our panel. This is amazing. Thank you guys so much. So I know we've talked about a family reunion here. Just a little reminder, you guys, if you want all of this information and more, again, it's a nice recharge. Just walk away feeling good. Actionable items for your business. Join us for family reunion. A big group of us are going. We have some of our biggest teams that are taking our whole team together and going as well. So talk to us about how we can help make that happen for you guys. Okay, thank you. That's amazing. Real quick, you guys, your first home, the second edition is coming out here in September. This is a wonderful resource and a book for your first time home buyers and a great thing to have for your first time home buyer seminar. Again, gifts for people who are trying to get pre-qualified. You're trying to get them over that hurdle. This is happening. And again, it's just a guide to how to invest in and make a smart decision on your first home. So that's coming out. They're doing pre-orders now. The new designs have been updated. So for your social media, make sure you guys check out Command. We have our diversity, equity, and inclusion. I am an agent of distinction. It's a wonderful series to take, and it's a great group now that masterminds together about real estate and how to have a more equitable business and how to be more equitable realtor. Make sure you guys join this and then tune into all of the resources that they have. Any listing pitches or buyer needs that you guys have right now? Yeah, Janet.
Yeah, I have 2 listings coming up this week. One is in Bixby North, kind of by Delano and Cherry, and it is a really cute. It's got a pool, it's got air conditioning, it's got paid for solar panels to pick up that air conditioning right now. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Completely turnkey, completely remodeled, beautiful home, and it's going on the market for $849. And then I have another one in Huntington Beach that is kind of by Springdale and Warner, and it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, gorgeous stone, mid-century modern split level, but very open, windows everywhere, and that's going to be going on the market for $119,900. So basically 1.2, and they're going to be on the market Wednesday.
Hey, congrats on your 2 listings. That's amazing. That's just like this market, right? That's great. Who else? Penny.
I finally have 6311 South Street vacant.
Woo! How many months?
And more importantly, I did leave the house in pretty good condition.
Okay.
I've already done the painting. We did have open houses every weekend. I've got to say, never ever say don't do an open house while it's hot or a holiday weekend. I had over 40 families in 2 days.
Wow.
But I would love to work with somebody in the office. So please, it's vacant, go show, 5 bedrooms, 4 baths. And it's listed at $875. Yes, it does face South Street. So please make sure your clients know that. And if you go to show on Thursdays, you'll have to park on the driveway because it's a cul-de-sac and they street on both sides. So you have to go onto the driveway. But I'd love to work with me in the office.
Yay! Congrats, Penny. So excited to celebrate that. Hallelujah. Woo! Done. Richard.
There's one that I thought was going to go on the market last week, but it's going to go on this week as soon as I get to it. In Compton, it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 1,900 square feet on Magnolia, right off Bloomington, Compton. That's going on this week. And there's another one at 718 33rd, which is south of Willow, and it's west of Pacific, right off of Maine. That's going on this week. It's 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. It is about 1,200 square feet, I believe. And it's going for $725. And there's one that I just finally got to the court on, and they finally approved the sale. It's 513 Tabor in Compton. It's for $500, but it's a total fixer. 500. So the last buyer I had just couldn't wait 3 months to go to the court. So it's probably going to go back on the market this week.
3 listings.
That's a 3-bedroom,
wow,
2-bath, 1,600 square feet.
It's happening. I can hear from you guys. This is great. Who else? Listing pitches, buyer needs.
Yeah.
Again?
Yeah.
Did you have another listing you forgot about?
Well, sometimes I would like to forget about this one. It's my one at the International Tower. Like 80 plus days on the market so far. We had it appraised, it just appraised at 750,000. It's on the market at 99.
Wow.
And you have fabulous views. It's 2 bedroom, 2 bath, and it's a gorgeous unit.
So try to cancel the list besides other than price reduction?
Well, no, we haven't. So
what's the drawback that you're finding?
High HOA?
Yeah, it has a high HOA, but I mean, it offers a lot too. It's got a gym and it's got a clubhouse and all those things, pays for water and trash and all that.
They're nice units.
It's really nice.
Great. So they're willing to maybe offset with 3, 6 months or more of HOA fees in advance?
Let's see this. Talk to Janet.
Bring offers.
If you bring offers, right? Bring offers.
Be creative.
Be creative.
It's going one way or another, but it might be going the way of the renter soon. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's figure out if we can make something work for you. Today, commercial meeting. Any comments?
It's 1 o'clock. I'll do it from here. Lee is an amazing commercial lender. If you have any questions, also kind of stuff the market of the commercial, what's going on, what's recent. It's by weekly meetings over Zoom. Join us. So 1 o'clock today over here or over Zoom.
Awesome. I love that. Also today, Simon, look at this picture up there twice. So handsome. Investigation contingency. That's happening today, right? 2 to 3. Yeah, 2 to 3 in person and on Zoom. And then how to conduct an accurate, consistent CMA. Who needs help with that? All of us? Yes, all of us. So make sure you join Simon, and he does have a appraiser that's coming on and talk a little bit about price.
Thursday? Was that Thursday?
Yes, no, Tuesday. Next Tuesday.
Oh, next Tuesday. Okay.
Yes. Career nights happening tomorrow night, you guys, digitally. If you have anyone interested in the KWCP School of Real Estate, thinking about getting their license, maybe they just brand new got licensed and not quite sure where to start, you guys can scan this QR code and have them register. It's a great time. We talk about the business. And again, I answer any questions about the School of Real Estate, right? It's happening tomorrow. Just got scans. Cool. Time blocking, Manny. What a wonderful person to talk about time blocking. Let me tell you, I've seen his calendar and it is something to strive for sure. Any comments about this?
Make sure to time block this time blocking session.
I was gonna say time block.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, I'm not sure where I'm gonna do it from. Kim, do we know, am I doing it from here or from South Bay?
South Bay.
South Bay. So I'll be physically in South Bay. You're welcome to come there or be here because I'm going to broadcast, but I'm going to share basic principles that helps me and many other people. So see you.
I love that. Make sure you time log in. More about the KW Concierge. If you're interested about learning about the Concierge, which we all should, it's a tool that we can put in our tool belt. We are having a class September 15th on a Thursday at 10 a.m. So you guys can join that. Surf and sand. This is going to be so much fun. So Alex, one of our mortgage brokers here with NAL Financial, is having a surf and sand beach day. If you guys know him, he's quite the surfer, and quite a few of you guys are in here. But it's free. Come, bring your families. They're going to teach you how to surf if you don't know how to. Teach your kids how to surf. A little bit of food. I think some other vendors and people like that are going to be there. So it's going to be a great time. RSVP to the front with Sophia. Okay.
And there is a small cost for parking. So I'll find out what that is and let you know, but it's 10 or 12 for the day or something.
Yeah. Oh, Bolsa Chica. Yeah. It's like 15. Yeah, 15. Yeah, but that's for the whole day. So yeah. You guys, Pancake Breakfast, Minnie's Real Estate Live. We are hosting our Pancake Breakfast since y'all loved it so much. Maybe even Deborah Bell brings some for gluten-free ones. We can just throw in there too, maybe. So join us, lots of pancakes. We'll be flipping flapjacks. So come with the full.
Maybe there will be a showing of bacon.
Oh, I love bacon, right? Every Wednesday, our RPA Mastery. So fun, you guys. We have a great group together. People are really getting to where they're writing good, clean offers in 15 minutes or less. It's wonderful, right? Ultimate leverage, of course, Fritz's coaching session. CommandCon, discover how top KW agents in the country leverage command. So this is the very first virtual event that's going to happen, led by Nick Baldwin, our regional tech developer. Yes, manager. Yeah, because he's not a tech trainer. Anyway, so him and Jason Abrams are going to host that. If you guys aren't leveraging and using command in your business, a great opportunity to come ask questions, troubleshoot. Find out what some of the top people are doing, Facebook ads, when they're running social campaigns, etc. Okay. Lastly, drive-in event is happening on Thursday, you guys. It is so much fun. Downtown, you pull your car up, you turn on your radio old school, you get food from the taco food trucks and sit in your kind really get to enjoy a movie, right? It's a great time. A League of Their Own is the movie that we're going to be playing. If you guys saw the series, it's great. So, kind of refresh your memory by coming. Please join me. And that's it. You guys, thank you. This is great. Thank you very much.